Hello, my name is Ryan Dahlgren, and today I will be going through my academic service learning experience with Bertrand Community Schools. First and foremost, we need to get to the bottom of why did I choose Bertrand Community Schools. Well, for starters, I have lived in the Bertrand community for 18 years of my life, majority of my life until I moved here to Kearney, and so it has a deep impact on me personally. I graduated in the class of 2013, and actually in doing some research about Bertrand and my family in Bertrand, I actually found out I'm a sixth generation resident of the Bertrand area, and so I really wanted to help out an organization that's really impacted me personally, and so I thought what better place than Bertrand, Nebraska, my hometown. It's a small town located about 35 miles southwest of here in Kearney, Nebraska. Town of only 750 people, so it's a very tight-knit community, and I really wanted to do some good there because when I was in school, I knew that they were really lacking technologically. The school was built in the mid-60s, and aside from a few renovations to the library and the gymnasium, the school is much the same. So I really wanted to help a school, a place that was behind the curve technologically, because I personally have a fond interest in technology as well as communication. Moving on. What were the objectives? These are a combination of both personal objectives for myself as well as objectives for Bertrand Community Schools themselves. So the first things first, a personal goal of mine was to announce games. I want to go into broadcasting as a field of my study, so I thought what better way than to actually be a vocal component to Bertrand Community Schools running. So I actually helped with 2 track meets, one on April 13th and one on April 21st. At these track meets, I did the PA announcing, telling runners where they needed to be and when they needed to be there, getting a hold of meet officials, and just really helping the meet run along smoothly. And it was a really fun experience for me personally. Summer reading program promotion, this was another goal that the schools had. Every Thursday in the summer, the library, which isn't a public library, is open to students to check out books and really promote reading throughout the summer when a lot of kids aren't doing much other than riding around their bikes and going to the pool and stuff. Student tech training, really wanted to help the students of Bertrand Community Schools be a lot better versed in technology, as that's the way the world is going today. Social media, I thought it'd be interesting to help update the social media pages for Bertrand Community Schools and the library itself. Grants, that was another huge thing. I found out in talking to Steph Donnell, my community partner, that much of the renovations that they have gotten done were from grants and through grants. So I thought, hey, what better way to get some more technology, some more information into Bertrand than by getting some more money, some more funding to help do that. And then book promotions, just in general, helping promote the idea of reading to Bertrand Community Schools, to the community itself. So what are some of my accomplishments? I didn't get to all of my goals, didn't get them all done there. Some of them were very lofty, but what I did get to I was very happy with. I believe I did a good job. And the first thing I got done was LastPass student training. LastPass is a program online designed to help key log passwords and help save pertinent information. I know personally I would have gained tremendously coming into college with this information, so I helped teach the senior and junior classes how to use LastPass, so when they get to school, when they get to college, they'll be able to utilize the technology that it simplifies your life. And then I also created a short tutorial video which goes on the Bertrand Community Schools website, or will go on there, to help walk any students or faculty through any difficulties they may have. Moving along with that, World Read Aloud Day was February 16th, and this was something that I didn't initially have planned, but it just came up unexpectedly. It was a really fun experience for myself. I read through Skype, via Skype, to a class in Council Bluffs, and there's actually about 4 or 5 elementary classes, so there was around 200 plus kids in the library, and I read to them via Skype, which was really fun. Read them a couple of books from my personal favorites from when I was younger, and then I taught the students about the Golden Sower Award. So the Golden Sower Award is unique to Nebraska in that students from all over Nebraska vote on which books they believe are the best, and there's 3 separate categories for young youth, for growing, and then for adults. And so these awards are handed out every year, and so I really taught the students from Iowa who weren't exposed to this Golden Silver Award just what exactly it is and how it's a special part of Nebraska itself. Here are a few pictures. These pictures here are all of me doing my LastPass training with the senior class. These three pictures on the left-hand side are of me actually reading the books to the students via Skype. I don't know if you can tell, I have a really goofy smirk. It was a really fun experience. I enjoyed it immensely. If I could do it again, I would. And I'm hoping to be able to get a hold of Stephanie Donnell and the students in Council Bluffs again. Some other accomplishments, summer reading program. I designed a promotional poster for the summer reading program. I talked a little bit about how I enjoy technology. Well, one of the problems I ran into is I was really overconfident in my technology abilities. Time has changed, technology has changed over the last 4 years, so I haven't really used the software, the design software, to make something, a poster like this. I hadn't used Photoshop in quite a while, so I really had to reteach myself, relearn how to make something like this, and I was really pleased with the end result. And then Voice of the Vikings. I talked a little bit earlier about how I got the opportunity to be the PA announcer for 2 track meets for Bertrand Community Schools, April 13th as well as April 25th. And then May 10th, I actually, after I graduate, look to go back to help with the district track and field meet, which is a really big deal for Bertrand. About 12 or 13 schools will be in for that, and it's to qualify for the state meet. So I'm really excited that Bertrand has extended out a hand and really offered me the opportunity to come back and do this. They really enjoyed having me, and I believe it's something that I can continue to do in years to come. Now moving on, we'll talk a little bit about some of the challenges I had and ways I could really have improved the academic service learning experience itself. The first challenge that I'm slowly starting to realize as I'm getting older is that time is a really valuable commodity. And so a lot of what I wanted to get accomplished would take some time, and since the school is about 40 minutes away, the town's 40 minutes away from Kearney, there were some times where I would really run into some time constraints of me being there and getting there often. Flexibility of schedule is another thing. I'm working like many of the students here as well as going to school, so really trying to work around my schedule and getting things in place so that way I could go or could work on my academic service learning experience. Conflict management, this is something that wasn't a major factor, but in giving some of my presentations to the juniors and seniors, I realized high school students aren't as receptive necessarily as some college students. College students, we pay to come to school to learn. Some of those high school students, they feel like they're forced to go. They feel like they're forced to learn things that they don't really care about. And some of the students thought this LastPass wasn't that big of a deal. Well, in reality, you could go in your life without having LastPass, but it's a really, really useful resource that I know would help many of the students. And some, just based on their nonverbal gestures, you could really tell when they're having it. They roll their eyes and stuff. So I really had to put myself in their shoes and to help look from a different perspective to get these students to realize that what I was teaching them was valuable and helpful. And so that was just a bit of conflict management. Like I said, it didn't happen a bunch, but when it did happen, it was a bit of a problem, but I believe I solved it fairly well. And then a better technological understanding. Like I said, very overconfident going into this. Maybe not overconfident, but I was extremely confident in my technology skills, and I realized there was way more that I had to learn. The tech specialist in Bertrand, Stephanie Donnell, she knew tons, and so she helped me learn the software, learn some of the components, and then I also did some personal learning on my own with Photoshop and some of the other software like that. So just getting more well-rounded, more versed would really help if I do it again. But as a whole, I really enjoyed the experience, and I really enjoyed what I got accomplished. So personal accomplishments. I really utilized organizational and relational communication skills. Not so much organizational, working at a school, but it was a lot more relational as I was talking to students a lot. The teachers, it was more personal, one-on-one type of discussions, getting things done. So I really enjoyed being able to utilize the skills that I've learned the last 4 years. I learned how to integrate technology and communication together. This is a huge thing because as more technology comes along, more people are going to need to learn how to utilize the technology. So being exposed to technology, I didn't know. I was forced to learn, but then in my learning, I was better able to teach the students who needed to learn. So I thought that was a very good, great personal accomplishment. And then yeah, just expanded my personal technology skills. I thought that was great. Got to use Photoshop, LastPass. Really got familiar with Gmail, the Google setup system. That's something that I wasn't entirely familiar with before, but now I'm a lot better versed and a lot more versed. And as I move into the working world, I expect to utilize this information. So a reflection of the ASL, as well as tying the class back into my academic service learning experience. First, the reflection of my ASL. I found it a very enjoyable learning experience. It's not a lot that you can really give back to the community, especially receive a grade for it, but I enjoyed both being able to give back to my community, as well as participate in something that was greater than just me, myself, just writing a paper or something like that. I was getting graded on actually how well, how much I did, how much I helped, and I enjoyed that immensely. I gained practical and applicable experience. So I know the PA announcing will come in handy as I move on. It looks good on resumes that I have done public speaking. I worked here at the KLPR, the radio station here. So that experience paired with my PA experience was really good. And then just talking to actual working professionals, that was another good thing. Sometimes it's easy to get in sort of an echo chamber here at the college. So getting out into the real world and talking to other professionals that I'm not normally exposed to was very good. I created and strengthened professional ties. That was awesome. When I was PA announcing at the Bertrand track meets, I had a bunch of coaches come up to me and say, hey, you did a really good job. You know, we're glad that Bertrand, you guys run it like this. Talked to numerous coaches who said, you know, in the future, if I was ever looking to do it again, I could come to their schools and do it. It wouldn't be a paid job, but volunteering is very rewarding, and doing something like that was really fun. And so I'm really hoping to utilize some of those ties with teachers and professionals that I had met. And then I got me out of my comfort zone. While I know I did go back to my school, back to my hometown, where I was somewhat familiar, the things I was doing, the structure of the school, it was a bit uncomfortable. It got me out of my comfort zone, and it really got me to realize that life isn't going to be like it is always in college. You're going to have to do certain things that you haven't been used to doing. You'll have to talk to people that you wouldn't normally go out of your way to talk to. But as a whole, I really enjoyed it. Got me out of my comfort zone, really helped me with my confidence. Because when you overcome things that you're not comfortable with, you really have to push your confidence out there. Now, relating this all back to the class aspect, I really noticed that the order, the hierarchy at Bertrand Community Schools was a very flat one. Those teachers that had been at Bertrand longest had a little more prestige, had a little bit more pull, but as a whole, the teachers were on a level. But as far as vertically, there was a very strict hierarchy, because although some of the administrators are teachers, the administrators are as a whole on top of the teachers. And then you also have this the Bertrand Board of Education, which even goes higher than the administrators. But those were people that, again, I wasn't exposed to, but just knowing that hierarchy really helped me realize how the communication flowed. Communication was more or less informal much of the time. When formal discussion was done, they would have meetings or file emails, paperwork. But as a whole, just in the day-to-day life of the school, it was a lot more informal education or informal communication. But as a whole, like I said, really enjoyed getting to go back to Bertrand, really enjoyed getting to be somewhere that had given to me, and I was able to give back to them. So now if there are any questions, comments, or concerns, I'll take them.